ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Charitropakhyan is the expressions of different charitras, different characteristics of both male and female genders and how they can bring down a person's life. Here in the first Charitra, Guru Gobind Singh Sahib Ji Maharaj talks about a Raja. The Raja's name is Charitr Singh or Chitr Singh. I'm going to use the color code blue for names. This Raja, Chitr Singh, lived in an area called Chitravati. Chitravati Nagari. Nagari means city. The city's name was Chitravati. And this Raja was very beautiful. He was very handsome and he had a lot of money to him. Guru Sahib says here, तां के गृह संपत कनी रथ गजबाज अनेक. कि मतलब गज हाथी रथ कहिए carriages. Gaj means hathi, elephants, baj. He had so many different possessions. He had a lot of sampati, a lot of khajana, a lot of money in his house. He was a very powerful king. One day, a apashara, a devi, a demigod, she saw this king and fell for him. She fell for him and wanted to marry him. रही अपशरा रीज रूप लख राय को. कि उस अपशरा ने जिन्हों राय राजे का रूप देखिया वो रीझ गई, खुश हो गई. पठी दूत का छल कर मिलन उपाय को. उन्हें फिर एक दूत भेजा. This apachara, once seeing the beautiful form of the Raja, she sent a letter to the king. Now many might say that this conversation, how is this happening? Is this mythology? That a demigod is trying to communicate with a human. Well, there's two ways to look at it. First of all, a lot of these charitras that are here in Charitropakhyan, most of them are current events. Most of them are things that, situations that happen with people around the time of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. So one idea could be that this could be a very physical story where a lady fell for this king. And to present this lady as a devi, as a apachara, as a majestic being, only amplifies the story's identity, how to communicate to the reader. There's one way of looking at it. The second way of looking at it is that it could be something very physical. In fact, that this apachara, this divine being, could be someone not from this planet, i.e. someone we can call an alien. So this story could actually be an alien falling in love with a human from Earth. So eventually she sends this messenger. The messenger goes and tells the king that this apachara wants to marry you. ताहे दूत का राय जो भेद कहे वो समझाए. उस दूत ने फिर राजे ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾ ਕੇ ਕਿਹਾ, ਬਰੀ ਰਾਏ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਏ ਮਨ ਦੁੰਦਬ ਢੋਲ ਬਜਾਏ. ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰਾਜਾ ਜੀ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰ ਲਓ. The king, upon hearing this message, marries this apachara. When बहुत बरस संग अपसरा पूपत माने पांग. Many years passed in this way, but the apashara, she herself stayed young while the king turned old. Once the king turned old, Bohar apashara indra ke jaat pai udlog. She flew away. She disappeared one day. One day, the Raja wakes up and the Apashara is not there anymore. She's gone. When the Raja wakes up to understand that his wife is gone, he does everything he can to look for her. What he does was he gets his most educated counselors, his educated people that will make a decision for him, or those that he can rely on, and he describes to them how she looks like. These artists, they take a picture. Chitrata ko turat desan deo pathai. They draw out a picture of his wife, the Apashara, and they send out the message all throughout the desh, throughout all the different regions. Eventually, it's found that in this area called Udash, the Guru Sahib wrote here, which is Odisha. In this area called Odisha, there is someone there, Roop Sakar Sam. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਰੂਪ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਮ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਹੈ. There is a lady in this place called Udash who looks just like the Apashara. Apashara tate gunan basek, but she looks much better actually. She looks almost the same, but she has more guns. Sunat Pachan Nirpad San Balayo. Once the king found out that this Apashara could be mine, he calls out to the king and he says that we're going to attack. We're going to get this lady no matter what happens, even if we have to fight. So Pant so darab lutayo. The Raja gets his army together. He spends so much money. Sajo Shastra Koch Tanatare, and he gives everyone shastras, weapons, adorns them with weapons, armor, to go get this lady. Now this lady was the daughter of someone named Hanavant Singh. Hanavant Singh was the king of that area of Odisha. When Hanavant Singh is approached, he does his best to fight off Chitra Singh, but eventually he loses. When he loses, Chitra Singh brings back this lady to his hometown. Now, many days go by, but this lady that he brought back does not talk. She does not say anything, no matter what he does. He tries to bring educators home. He thinks that maybe she's not educated, she cannot speak. So he calls over a Brahmin to help teach her. But even that doesn't help. She doesn't say a single thing. Then one day, the king calls for his son. Raja nich sut nikat bulayo. Raja ne apna niji sut, apna niji putter nikat bulaya. Dijbarata he sang la ayo. He says, son, take my wife away and make her talk. She does not talk. Maybe teach her some words, but make her talk. Dohra la tako raja kiya apne taam pyan. Sakhi sahas thadi jahan sundar pari saman. Bolat sot mukte nahi yo nirp kahyo sunaye. The king said that ਇਹ ਬੋਲਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁਛ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੋਂ. ਚਿੱਤਰਮਤੀ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਲੈ ਗਈ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਦਨ ਲਵਾਏ. Then the king, his son, he goes ahead, takes her to his area, his resting area, and in that moment, the lady spoke. She said that At Anoop Sundar Saras Mano Man ke An Moh Man ko Moh Sada Mitra Tihare Nan. She said, oh my friend, you have enticed me. So these are the first words she spoke. And she said, you have enticed me, my friend. Your eyes have pierced me. And this Savaiya, Guru Kalgidhar Pitaji wrote so beautifully. तेरो बान बदी बिरहा के बलाए लियो रीज रही लख रूप तिहारो. She said, by seeing your roop, मैं ਤੁਹਾਡਾ रूप देख के, it feels as if बान बदी बिरहा के, like the arrow of birha, of separation, has hit me. मैं रीझ रही हाँ, मैं ਹੁਣ I can't live without you. ਭੋ ਕਰੋ ਮੋਹਿ ਸਾਥ ਭਲੀ. You shall make love with me. ਬਿਦ ਭੂਪਤ ਕੋ ਨਹਿ ਤਰਾਸ ਵਿਚਾਰੋ. Don't worry about your father, the king. Don't worry about any fears for him. ਸੋ ਨਾ ਕਰੈ ਚਖ ਚਾਰ ਚਿਤਾਪੇ, ਕੋ ਖਾਏ ਗਰੀ ਮਨ ਮੈਨ ਤਵਾਰੋ. ਕੋਟ ਉਪਾਏ ਰਹੀ ਕੈ ਦਇਆ ਕੀ, ਸੋ ਕੈਸੇ ਹੂੰ ਭੀਜਤ ਭਿਓ ਨਾ ਅਠਿਆਰੋ. Without making love with you, I shall not be content. Now, this is the son of the king. For him, this is his mom. He cannot make love with her. So in response, he stands his ground and he says to her, I shall not do this. This is against my dharam. Chit chetak so chob gayo chamak, chakrat pyo ain ang. चोर चतुर चित लै गयो चपल चखन के संग. हेर रूप तोहे बस भई गहो कवन की ओट. मछरी ज्यों तरफै भरी चुबी चखन की चोट चौपई. वाकी कही ना नृप सुत मानी. The son of the king, he did not adhere to what this lady said. चित्रमती तब भई निकेसानी. चित्र सिंह पै जाए पुकारो, बड़ो दुष्ट एह पुत्र तुहारो. And then what did the lady do? She played a Charitr. She played trickery. She started calling out to the king. She started ripping her clothes. Far cheer kar apne mukh nakh kae lagaye. Started scratching herself up to show that she was raped. To show that this king's son has done something to me, has committed a sexual act upon me. She ripped up her clothes and calls for the king that your son has committed a great crime. Raja ko rokhat kiyo tan ko chihn dikhaye. Bachan sunt kritat nirpayo. When the king heard about this, when he heard that his wife is crying out, he came running, and with so much anger, he said, Maran he sutte he lag gayo. He said, kill my son. He told his guards, grab my son and kill him, because he has done such a horrible crime. At that moment, the king's mantris, their advisors, they ran and they started to stop the king. They said, wait, you don't know this, but Triya Chitra na kinhu payo. Ki this istri, this lady has played a Charitra with you. This lady has played trickery with you. This is the first Charitra. ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਚਿੱਤਰ ਦੀ ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. ਇਹ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਚਰਿਤ੍ਰੋਪਖਿਆਨ ਤ੍ਰਿਆ ਚਿੱਤਰੇ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਭੂਪ ਸੰਵਾਦੇ ਦੁਤੀਆ ਚਰਿਤ੍ਰ ਸਮਾਪਤ ਮਸਤੋ ਮਸਤ. It's called Dutiya, means the second Charitra. In fact, this is the first tale of, before this, the very first one was the story of Chandi. ਤੇ ਚੰਡੀ ਦੀ ਉਸਤਤ ਸੀ, ਸੋ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਦਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਦੂਜਾ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ. But it is the first tale out of the stories. So from here on, the other Charitras will open up. This story will be the base of all the other Charitras to come. The mantris will try to advise the king against killing his son. They will say, hey, look, instead of killing his son, put him in jail for a while and listen to us. The king puts his son to jail and starts listening to the mantris, the advisors. The advisors say, look, let us teach you what the chal that a person can do, whether they are a female or a male, and what bahadri, what courage can a person do, whether they are female or male as well, against this ataram, against this pap, against this sin. So the next Charitras will be that story that the mantris share with the king. That's why they say Mantri Poop Sanbadi. Sanbadi means conversation, and Mantri means advisor, Poop means king. The conversation between king and Mantri. ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਸ਼ਰਾਮ ਦੇਂਗੇ. ਭੁੱਲੋ ਚੁੱਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਖਿਮਾ ਬਖਸ਼ਣੀ ਜੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.